Previously, we covered Colin's return to the act following his little run-in with the police, quickly followed by Alan's departure. Temporary replacement Dene Michael stays on, helping to milk every last drop from the dying cash cow, even briefly promoted to an official member, but soon replaced by Hopcraft, who fronts the act throughout the 90s. By the noughties, even Colin's tired of the cheap gag, and along with manager John Wagstaff, starts randomly throwing shit at the wall to see if anything sticks, but it doesn't, so Colin gives up on the industry and moves to Spain to perform solo as his semi-retirement. As the sun finally sets on the remains of the brutally exploited carcass, Colin glances at the deformity, giving a fraction of a wince as he pushes it into the shallow grave, pondering reflectively as he begins to shovel, eventually patting down the last mound of sand with a feeling of both excitement and uncertainty. He sits by it, catching his breath as he thinks about those early days. Alan, Big Terry, even Smokie. He exhales, wiping a bead of sweat from his five-head. Feeling a light rumble, he quickly notices a crack in the dirt. As he looks closer, chubby little fingers with gold rings burst through the dirt, grabbing at Colin's ankle. As he looks down, he sees a terrifying smile. He wakes abruptly, quickly turning on his PC to search Dean's name, and lo and behold, he's formed a new version of Black Lace. Despite having nothing to do with the act's successful period, instrumental only in their rapid decline, he grabs the ball and passes it to someone who can run, whilst he bumbles his way through a backstory as a distraction. It's now the 2010s, and Dean, alongside his mate from Benidorm, Ian Robinson, have decided to claim the name. Looking like contestants from Bullseye, they slip their peckers into the Black Lace-sized glory hole in the 80s nostalgia toilet, whilst Colin bounces between Tenerife and Costa Blanca solo as the original Black Lace. Dean's already done an EasyJet ad for flights to Agadoo. People look on in confusion as to what looks like a random guy doing karaoke with an overinflated Tommy Cooper balloon. London Gatwick all the way to the beach. Released a Mambo version of Agadoo, as well as opened a bar in Sunderland called Agadoo's with his new best pal, Les Battersby from Coronation Street. Now they're doing a train line ad, using Do the Conga, and releasing a new version of it, of course.
Choo choo choo, make savings with the train line.
It's decided that they'll use a Black Lace banner this time, since nobody recognises them.
Choo choo choo, savings every day.
They release another version of I'm the Music Man in 2012, but there's obviously no demand for any of these crap recordings. They're the freak show at Ant and Dec's joint 40th party, congoing with Cheryl Cole and Holly Willoughby, whilst celebrity partygoers secretly take guesses at which one's the kiddie fiddler. Business is good, better than their elderly brothers act back in Benidorm, and nobody seems to mind that neither of the notable members are even there. They do a Walker's Crisps ad with Gary Lineker wearing wigs to look more like Colin and Alan. Terrifying.
Yours might be cheese and chive. Or barbecue. I said, not you.
It makes me wonder how much money it would take to make this much of a prick out of myself. But I'm guessing they got about 5,000. He also appeared on Judge Rinder for owing his ex-wife money, getting very good use out of his suit when he's also charged for scamming £25,000 from disabled and vulnerable people, getting him 6 months in jail. Behind the door, he was quickly named Aga, and would spend each day being told Agadoo this, Agadoo that, as well as being forced to perform for inmates every day, leading up to 50-man congas in the yard claiming that this is what saved his life. Whilst he's serving his time, Colin recruits friend Gordon King to make his original Black Lace a duo again. And ex-vocalist Rob Hopcraft sets up White Lace and Boot Lace. And when Dene's released, he returns to his Black Lace. He also enters The Voice, hoping to be snapped up as a solo artist, but happy to settle for another Black Lace plug. There's his friends and family. Along the front row of Bermuda shirts, his alcoholic wife abuser Les Battersby, and the hair-lip convicted photograph collector Danny Tetley from X Factor. He eventually replaces Ian with Craig Harper, a ventriloquist and comedian from Britain's Got Talent. In 2020, COVID hits, and following the trend of lockdown band recordings using Zoom for visuals, the original band, including Alan's son, decide to re-record Marianne.
Out in the late night, way after midnight, on with a bottle or two.
Young Dean Barton, all grown up with kids of his own. His voice is incredible. Just imagine how proud Alan would be.
What's the time? I'm getting out of my mind. I gotta get to you.
A rare chance to see the old dog moving around the neck and miming actual parts. Finger picking too.
He was in Black Lace, come back to my place, come for a drink and a dance.
We also get a snapshot into his shag pad, the selection of gold discs, the strategically placed McCartney bass, and that Dene Agadoo signature model.
Boy, I found you didn't hang around, I didn't stand a chance. Marianne, I gotta do what I can, but I can't do more than try.
And there they are, Big Terry on his electric kit at the bottom, next to Ian, who's been banished to the back garden by his wife. Very pleasant on the ears for a man that's been researching Black Lace for a month.
Tearing my heart out, trying to make it up to you.
It's around this time that we get the sad news that Rob Hopcraft has died in a falling accident, and despite existing in obscurity was actually the second best vocalist the band ever had, and we wish him peace and love. By 2022, Colin's bandmate Gordon King retires with a back problem, rendering him a solo act again. You'd be forgiven for thinking that Dean's just a bit of a chancer, cheeky chappy, hustling to pay the bills. I mean, he was in the band, so what's the problem? The problem is, he's forging a story of fame and fortune that blurs reality and fantasy, gifting himself undeserved importance, even referring to himself as the legendary Dene Michael, taking the name Mr. Agadoo that Richard Whiteley had dubbed Colin some years earlier, even recounting their stories and achievements as his own. Stolen valor. He's asked here about the early hits, and goes on to explain about how John brought the songs back from his holidays.
And the first one he brought over was the Birdie song. And he said, I found this song, and we played it in the office, and we said, oh, John, it's not very good. You know, we don't want to be really recording that.
This is 5 years before he joined, and only a small example of what can be found throughout his interviews as he clambers for recognition.
He said, trust me, it's a hit record, it's a hit. So we went in the studio, recorded the song, and that day, the Tweets went in the charts at #1 with the Birdie song.
Do you know the writer?
No, I never met the writer of Agadoo. He was Italian,
French,
and he wrote another one was from Spain, the Saragossa band.
They're German.
They wrote Agadoo.
No, they didn't.
The guy that wrote the Superman song was Italian.
Even a stop clock is right twice a day.
The Conga is an old classic song from many, many years ago, so I think it's just a remake of that.
No, Do the Conga is the act's only hit that was written specifically for them. The jewel in their crown.
Then with The Music Man, I did our version of that one. I wrote that one.
You didn't write it. but you are credited for the arrangement.
We've had Wigwam Bam, which the Sweet had. We did a version of that one.
You were in the video for Wigwam Bam, and for that, I thank you very, very much.
We Dance, that was another hit for us.
It wasn't a hit and failed to reach the top 40 just like every other song you were involved with.
So we've had many hit records.
Has anybody ever asked you, Dean, what's the meaning behind the song Agadoo?
This has to be in the top 3 questions that he's regularly asked, and surely wouldn't be difficult to think of a funny response.
Right. Do you want to really know? It's the true. You want to know the true meaningful meaning of Agadoo?
He's building it up now, so must have something good up his sleeve.
Yeah.
Well, it's a protest song, really.
Right.
It's a protest song. It's about being cruel to fruit.
Father Alex loves it, but it's about as funny as penal cancer.
No, we had to answer that once on the Old Grey Whistle test. They asked the same question.
I guess that makes more sense. Maybe it was funnier the first time.
And for fun, we just made it up. We just, it's about being cruel for fruit, with fruit. It's a protest.
Let's take a little look at the Whistle Test interview to see him in his comedy prime.
Lyrics like, crush pineapple, shake a tree.
I can't see you there, Dean.
Well, sort of, yeah, it's a sort of protest, you know. I mean, people sing about killing animals and things. We're protesting they shouldn't kill fruit and eat it, really.
Crushing pineapple.
Crushing pineapple. Yeah.
So these songs are really meaningful then? So
Well, I was believing you for a minute, and then I thought he's having a laugh here. He's having a laugh.
I'm known for a bit of a comedian, you know.
You're known for being a compulsive stretcher of the truth. A self-congratulating attention hoover that's addicted to artificially manufacturing a celebrity profile for yourself. It's actually fascinating.
Well, you're...
He's finally fired by John in 2023, realising that he doesn't even need an ex-member. The brand's been degraded so badly that it can't hurt to try. So they keep on Craig Harper and bring in Phil Temple, a member of the short-lived New Black Lace. And despite the ridiculousness of it all, they've cleaned up the greasy old banger and keeping it on the road. In 2024, Colin sadly died, aged 70, and in fairness to him, he was a reasonable multi-instrumentalist. Guitar, bass, banjo, some vocals. Only he knows why he chose to cling on to a handful of kids' songs as if he was nothing without them, planting himself on the same hill as the likes of Dene Michael. The new lineup released their first single next week, and for what it's worth, it's both shamelessly horrific and fun at the same time. I can see a new generation of children and nostalgists embracing it. 8,000 sales can get a song into the top 40, so if you fancy joining me on the 18th, could be fun to troll the charts one last time. Either way, regardless of our judgment, to this day on holiday parks around the globe, it's important to remember that black lace matters.